This reading is from All Souls Night, which is probably his best known play. It's regarded now as an Ulster classic, and it is very much about the loch and the tradition that the dead return to their homes on All Souls Night. And in this passage he's talking about the ghost of the boy who's been drowned in the loch has come back to the house and is talking about his death, having just had a quarrel with his mother, who has shouted at him and forced him out to sea, and he's afraid of the sea. He doesn't want to go, but nevertheless he has to go. And he says, "You could hear the temper in my voice, but not the terror. You could urge me launch the boat and see her dance away from the shore. You could see the oars dip as my tired arms tugged them through the water. You could see me round the point. Then you closed the door. You could see nothing then but the bright fire burning in the hearth. You couldn't hear the east wind as it tore up the loch and flung the sea into the boat. You didn't see me as the oars leapt to meet me and the rowlocks in the rotten gunnels, nor did you see her crack like withered twigs. You didn't see her fling me out into the sea like a curving pellock. My loud words of anger were in your ears, but you didn't hear the words that death forced up my throat. Save a life, save a life, save a life. You didn't see the wave that carried death into my dancing body. You didn't see my tired fingers claw the water and rake the wreck until the sand oozed over them as I lay at the bottom. Fresh as the memory. Well, it is how I see it, but I know it's not how anyone who knows it sees it, because as children, Francis and I spent a lot of time trying to persuade my father's brother to take us sailing on it or out rowing on it, but we'll just go up to the Walter Rock. And he would look at it and it would look beautiful and calm, and he'd say, "Ah, no, you couldn't go out today, it's not a good day." And his friend, the late Father Hughie Mullen, who was a great sailor, who also sailed with him, would say, "Ah, no, you couldn't go out today." And Tommy Hutton, our next door neighbour in Portaferry, who was the pilot for Lord Londonderry at Mount Stewart, he would say, "Oh no, you couldn't go out today." And yet you'd look at it and there would hardly be a ripple on it. But they knew somehow that all was not well with it. We were never able to tell that. It always just looked beautiful and calm to us. But it's a very dangerous place, and it has its very own life and its very own undertow, I think. And my father wrote definitely about the darker side, because he understood that his neighbours had been drowned. They'd watched the father and brother drowned in front of the loch. Other people in Portaferry who he knew had been drowned in it. His great uncle had sailed before the mast, and he had a very great respect for it, and talked about seeing the ghosts of sailors on Rock and Goose, and hearing the cries of "Save a Life" of the drowned on Rock and Goose, near the bar. So yes, I suppose in his work, although there are moments when the loch is laughing and the gulls are shrieking and the seals are coughing, in All Souls Night at one point the seals are coughing. Nevertheless, the loch is a dark place.